I was laughing because I actually started the countdown timer because of the fact that I was cleaning my desk. I was cleaning off my desk. I was cleaning the crap off my desk because you know what? Here in the Northeast, it's a rainy Sunday. Hopefully, this is not a harbinger or a prelude into what's going to be going on tomorrow at the 4 p.m. deadline with the Saquon Barkley. It's just another guy. Whoops, it's just another day. Okay, it's just another time. So we got to make sure we got to get everyone here. Oh, we got people dropping in. Evidently, Rob is starting to drop in. Yeah, I'm waiting for him to get his headphones on because evidently he doesn't own a fucking watch. Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. We got Jeff in the house saying what's going on, and we got Chris saying good morning, everyone. We got Rob, who's putting on his glasses.
Actually, cleaning my glasses.
We'll with the 15 people in the chat. We'll just wait for you, Rob. We'll just wait for you. People don't have anything better to do on a Sunday than wait for me.
I mean, what better thing could you be doing than watching fucking Tim and me? I mean, if you could find anything else better to do, okay, then get out. Don't ever come back.
I'd like to mention right off the bat, I could find something better to do.
Yeah, I could do. That's probably good too.
I got a list of shit I could do right now. And my wife,
I got about a million other things that I'd rather fucking do.
I love hanging out with everyone. I love hanging out. We got training camp coming around real soon. Going to be at training camp. I got a bunch of tickets also for training camp. As a season ticket holder, we got first dibs. So picked up some extras to be given out during the week. And who let the dogs out? Evidently, Rob didn't, because
Baja Man.
He's still not out yet. Rob, let's run through these real quick here. And I want to talk about Saquon Barkley. We got Captain Columbo saying, salute to the chat. Big Blue Nation. We got Chris, everything going. Where's the co-host? Sir Foul Play in Brooklyn. Life, Liberty, and Tim. Of course, hopefully that is a little homage to Get Off My Lawn, the Mad Ramblings of Gen Xer, one of the most popular growing podcasts on the iTunes platform. Manuel Lewis is yo. We got Mark Hernandez, who I haven't seen in a while. Good morning, guys. Giants 34, who's always there going, what's up, Tim? What's up, Rob? Chris says we should go to Poppycockers. We will. We got
Chris.
We got the
Don't you fucking do it, Chris. Don't you fucking do it.
We got the 2 hog mollies coming in strong here, says Sir Foul Play at Brooklyn. We got the Irish.
Is that a fat joke?
Probably. I don't care. I don't care. Irish Horror says, hey, Tim. Hey, Rob. Made it this morning. Sorry.
Rover.
Church at 9 a.m. What's the Rover? We got the Zach Texas today. I think Barkley, if he doesn't sign by July 17th, he ends his career because next year he'll be 27. Not a good number for a running back, but for a long-term contract. Here's my thing.
Talk to me, baby.
I did a video about this, and I did a video yesterday, I don't know, Friday, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that Saquon's not going to sign, not going to stay, that Mara's not going to step in on the white horse at the last moment, kind of like he did with Daniel Jones, allegedly.
Who?
Daniel somebody. I'm not going to say anyone. I'm not going to say anything about that. But I am a little perturbed for the fact. 2 things I'm perturbed about.
Tell me what. Tell Daddy what you're perturbed about.
I'm perturbed about. First of all, it's just weird.
No, you know what's weird? Having fucking a woman with a skirt above my head. That's what's fucking weird.
You know funny? That's been above your head now for 2 episodes. I've been waiting for you to say something about it.
Get rid of the poppycockers. Get out of here.
I have been waiting for you to say something about it.
Get it out of here.
A couple things perturb me a little bit. First thing that perturbs me is the fact that when I told everyone that Saquon Barkley's contract, his offer, I told everyone months ago that he was only guaranteed the first year and half of the second. And I was told once again that I was a lunatic and I didn't know anything. And I get everything. But no one ever says, Tim. No one ever comes back and says, "Oh God, Tim, you're right.
You were right. You're right, Tim."
Besides you, but what's bothering me is the fact that I don't get it with Shane. And is it? I don't want to call it arrogance. I don't want to call it. I don't know what to call it, Rob. But how do you sit there and you have a guy that really accounted for like 45%, minimum of like 45% of your offense, was your linchpin during the 7-2 run? Yeah. When he was not producing when teams started keying on him that second half of the season. The Giants dropped down exponentially. He ran for almost 1,000 yards the first 9 games, and the rest of the way he only ran for 300 yards, and the Giants only won 2 games. Is there a sense of arrogance at the fact that Shane knows more than everyone else in the league, or Shane is just doesn't want to play Saquon?
I mean, we talk about this. I know I talk about it constantly because I got no life, so I stay on Twitter, all the time in Twitter Spaces. For me, I just find it hard that, and I understand the positions are different. I just don't get how you overcommit to a quarterback, but yet you play hardball with one of your top 3 best players on your football team. I don't think that if you ask anybody who's the best football player on this team it's Andrew Thomas. Like, Andrew Thomas is the best player on this football team. Barkley is number 2. And I think Dexter Lawrence, after his performance last year, has moved up to being the 3rd best player on this football team. But I just don't get it either. And I don't know if it's arrogance. Me personally, what I think it is, and this is just my opinion, I think that they realized that they may have handled or worked the Daniel Jones contract negotiations poorly, the way certain things went down. And I think they want to try to rectify that with Barkley. And to me, Barkley's a really bad player to have a fucking epiphany with and realize, oh, fuck, we messed up big time. We need to make it right.
That is a great way to put it. It's almost, are they having an epiphany or are they not? Because that's what I'm concerned about. I mean, unless, of course, the head coach does not really have anything to do with contract negotiations. This is strictly the owner and the general manager. So we don't know.
But they do give his input. Like, I'm sure he does give his input, but yeah, he's not in negotiations.
We don't know what Dable's mindset is. I mean, the offense can totally be a 360 and we could become the 49ers of the 80s. A short passing game, the West Coast style offense, putting up huge numbers. But then you look at it and you're like, okay, we have 2 guard positions in flux. You have a center position, which is being handed over to a rookie. And you have a right tackle who is coming off of his rookie season and not a great rookie season. Mm-hmm. So with those components, would you really be all of a sudden turn around and become a high-scoring, prolific passing team when you have 4 question marks out of your 5 offensive line spots?
Look, I don't know. Like, I know, like, the talk on Twitter, right, is that, you drafted Hyatt, you brought in Campbell, you drafted for Waller. Like, you're going to turn into this prolific passing offense and whatnot. And I just don't know if that is going to be the case. I hope that's what it is, right? Because with the teams that we're playing, the defenses, the offenses that we're going up against, we're going to need to score a lot of points. And you don't score a lot of points by running the football. What do you score a lot of points with? Throwing it. And so you've got a lot of fast guys that are on the team right now. And I think everybody's under this impression that it's just going to be this, high-powered offense. But what if it's not, right? What if it's not? And I'm sure you saw the Mike Florio, interview that he did on the Rich Eisen show and things that he said. And clearly the Giants had this mindset too. They wanted to tag Daniel Jones. They wanted to get Barkley on the long-term deal. They wanted to tag Daniel Jones. And to me, that is an organization that does not believe or trust in what they have right now. That doesn't mean they can't, right? That does not mean that they cannot trust Daniel Jones. And when I say trust, I mean, I think that they trust him to run their offense. When I say trust, I mean trust that he's going to get them further than what they got. Like, he's going to get them there, right? And I think you don't try to make that move in signing Barkley and then tagging Jones if you don't believe that Barkley is still the main vocal point of your offense and needs to still be the main vocal point of your offense. So to me, I don't know. And I think if you're looking to go and get a prolific passing offense, or at least get better, right, in the passing game, I think you need Barkley here, because what's going to happen is that they will just go ahead and force Daniel Jones if Barkley is not here to pass. And teams are going to play more in coverage. They're going to do this. They're going to give him different looks, and they're going to force him to try to beat them through the air. And is he going to be able to do that? Whereas if you have Barkley, now you're still maybe going up against those 8 or 9 man boxes from time to time, which should make it easier if the line is improved. You mentioned JMS just a couple of minutes ago. Yes, he's a rookie. He might struggle right out the gate, and then maybe it'll work out for him. Maybe he won't struggle. Who knows? Evan Neal, year 2.
The percentages are that he's going to struggle sometime during the season. It may not be, it may not be there, but the percentages are just that he will struggle. I mean,
of course.
But here's my thing, not to cut you off, but here's the thing I don't get. And I don't know if you saw the Darius Slayton tweet from the other day. And Darius Slayton came out and said, this is like not buying your wife a wedding ring because 31 other men decided their wife wasn't worth it. And I thought this was weird that he would actually put this out, because we've talked about this before. We've talked about the marketplace before for running backs, how it's gone down. But you and I have also discussed the fact that the value of Barkley to this team
is different than the other 31 teams.
The value of the running back.
Exactly.
But for Darius Slayton basically to come out and say, listen, if we'll read it again. This is like not buying your wife a wedding ring because 31 other men decided their wife wasn't worth it.
It's almost kind of taking a shot at the Giants.
Yes, I would, if I was Darius Slayton, I'd take a shot at the Giants too after I got benched and then turned out to be their most prolific wide receiver.
And that's probably not how he meant it, but that's how it could be perceived. But right?
Here's the thing. I think that is how he meant it.
I don't know. I think personally what I think he was probably addressing a lot of the fans, because Darius Slayton is he's responded to the fans before and he's active on Twitter. And I think that he's probably responding to the fans out there that are saying, you know what? Barkley's aging. He's 26. He's not going to be able to produce for long, and I don't want to pay him and just get him on the tag. And I think that's who he's probably more than likely going after.
See, that I don't agree with, because of the fact, why would he mention that 31 other teams, if they're not going to buy their wives an expensive ring because they're not worth it, to me, that's a shot at the league, the NFL, the running back market, and the Giants.
Well, maybe, but there are some. Right? But they're also
falling lock and step with the
rest. Maybe
in the running back position. That's what I think.
Well, maybe, but I mean, like some of the fans, if you see like the common phrase is like, "Oh, Barkley wouldn't get $14 million from any other team in the National Football League." Like, look at this guy. Look at this guy. So I think that could also be playing a factor in it as well. Listen, it could be viewed. I understand what you're saying. It could definitely be viewed that way, where maybe he's saying, yo, New York, like Giants, just because 31 other teams won't pay him doesn't mean we shouldn't. Like, right. We know who Barkley is. We know the type of player he is. We know the type of leader he is. We know what he does in the locker room. We know what he does on the practice field. We know what he does on Sundays and on Thursdays and on Mondays. We need this guy here. Get it done. And it could also be to where he's taking a shot at the fans and saying, yo, for those fans that he's aging, I wouldn't pay him. Nobody would pay him. Those teams are not the Giants. He almost kind of reiterated what Barkley said about a month ago when he was at his camp. Right. He's like, not every team is the Chiefs. Not every team has Patrick Mahomes. Not every team is constructed, like the Philadelphia Eagles. This is going to be very interesting because tomorrow at 4 p.m., that's the deadline. And at that point, it's tag or nothing. After that, there is no long-term contract that could be negotiated. I'm sure most of you in the chat heard Mike Florio say the Giants could offer him a little bit more money to show up to camp. That very, very rarely happens. He could sign the tag and make a verbal agreement where based on certain metrics, he's not tagged next year, so he has the opportunity to walk. That's happened before, so that's a possibility. But I don't know, he brought in some dude from CAA. Rock Nation clearly wasn't getting it done. Now we're seeing some of these leaks, and not because I want him to sign for cheaper, but the Joe Mixon deal yesterday, I don't necessarily think helped his argument at all.
Here's the thing. I don't think that has to do with anything. I think that's oranges and hand grenades. Because you don't think Joe taking almost a $5 million cut the next 2 years could have any effect on the market? No.
Or like how the Giants perceive it? Say, hey, this guy took a cut. Aaron Jones took a cut.
Because of the fact that you have Joe Burrows right there. You don't, if we had Joe Burrows, yes, I would say to Saquon Barkley, yeah, maybe you need to take a cut and pay and be a little bit more of a team guy, because Joe Burrows is going to shoulder the load.
Yeah, correct.
We don't have a Joe Burrows.
We don't. And you know what's funny, Tim? And people gave Mike Lombardi shit, right? This is the disease of me that people were avoiding, right? Yep. And what I think I was thinking about this last night because I was up till 5 a.m. because I got both my kids home now and neither one of them were sleeping. So I was up till 5 a.m. And here's the thing. The Giants aren't like the Chiefs. We're in the conference championship game every year, or we're in that conversation. And with those teams, you probably have players that are willing to take a little bit less money because they know where they're at. Right. They know they have a chance to win. The disease of me is the Giants aren't there yet, but you have players that are at the point where they want to get their money. Jones wanted his money.
To your point, the players, the team isn't there yet, but the players, in reference to their age and financial,
they're there. They're ready to get paid. They're there. So Dex needed to get paid. Andrew Thomas is about to get paid. Saquon wants to get paid. Jones wanted to get paid, right? This is the disease of me, because right now it's a me team, because all of these guys are trying to get their money. I'm not saying that they don't care about the football team, but when you're winning and you are on the pinnacle of doing something special, some of those players would be maybe a little bit more willing to take, I don't know, maybe $1 million, $2 million, $3 million less to stick with the situation that they're in versus trying to get almost top dollar. Like Barkley's not going to get paid as like the number one running back if he signs his deal, but he's definitely going to be in the top 3, maybe the top 4 as far as his pay. And, that's something that, maybe that's not the case if the Giants have been on the cusp of the Super Bowl, maybe won a Super Bowl within the last since 2018 when he was drafted, right? They won one in 2018, maybe they've won a conference championship game or something like that. I think the aroma is a little bit different. So I think when Mike Lombardi was talking about that disease of me, I think we're seeing it because these guys want to get their money.
Right, they want to get paid
because they're in their prime.
Before we get too far behind on the chats, I want to run through a bunch of these. I also want to ask you about Dalvin Cook. Because someone sent me something that made me laugh. Zach Attack with the big super chat. Of course, all super chats go to the Philadelphia Children's Hospital. The Giants and the Titans are in similar situations in terms of the running back being the most important position on those teams. You need to produce otherwise. And that's the thing. The offense ran through Saquon Barkley. There's nothing we can say about that. Last year, it ran through Saquon Barkley the first 9 games, and we see the difference. It was kind of more of a community effort in the last half of the season, and we see what the effort was in that. So at the end of the day, I think the Titans, though, at least had made multiple playoffs. They went to the conference championship game about 2 years ago. So they're in a little different situation. I also think the Titans are a little bit more into the rebuild phase right now as well. I laugh because we'll talk about Malik Willis later, who outplayed Will Levis. We'll talk about that later. We got James Williams in the chat saying good morning, boys. We also have Irish Rover backing up from come to daddy. That was just weird. Not Irish Rover, but we all know what that was about. Jeff Newman says when opposing teams talk about the Giants, the first thing they all mention to stop is Barkley. And that's what analysts say all the times. Tim, I love Guilty says, Tim, you were right, lol. We got Chris also in the chat. We got Irish Rover saying it's about the money. Todd Taylor, we says the quarterback that only had an average season after he refused to extend his rookie deal makes no sense to me. I mean, he didn't refuse to. We didn't offer him a rookie deal to extend it. But I understand your point, Todd. I understand where you're going with that. It's I don't know. We got Mark Stewart. I haven't seen Mark in a while. Hey, Mark, welcome to the chat.
Mark.
Haven't seen Mark in a good old time. We got Mark saying, good morning, family. We got Mr. Mark Hernandez also in the Pay the Man already. We got Captain Matumbo. He's got an 89 speed for new Madden. I heard. Well, I don't. Yeah. Madden's Madden. Madden's Madden. I still play NFL 2K.
Bro, I actually might play that game today, honestly. 2K.
I have a ball playing that, and now we have a 120-inch drop-down screen that comes out of the wall. So now I got that set up, man. I got my big-ass chair, and I'm like, I may never leave the basement again. So between the keg, the refrigerator, the drop-down screen, I was like, I'm good. James Williams says, I'll simplify this. Ravens are paying Odell $15 million next season. He hasn't played in over a year. He's a wide receiver that won't touch the ball half the amount of time that Saquon does. I think it was Mr. Authentic that put up a listing of all the second-tier wide receivers that are making or will be making more money than Saquon Barkley.
That's crazy. And
it's nuts. And Irish Rover says, without Barkley, we have no running game. Without a running game, there is no passing game. Well, the Giants offense, that is correct. Zagatech says, the biggest question mark right now is Daniel Jones. If he doesn't win you games, then you will lose the games. Yeah.
I mean, that's just what it comes down to. Like,
honestly, if you're honest about it, that's kind of what it boils. You're right. That's what it boils down.
It's what it boils down. Like, look, if Jones was showing signs going into this season that you could put it on his shoulders, I don't think anybody would necessarily be worried about whether Barkley was here or not. But this offense and his success is based on whether Barkley is on the field.
Right.
So without Barkley on the field, he's got like 3,700 yards. He's got 16 touchdowns, 17 interceptions. He's got a 77.6 or 77.9, passer rating. It's awful. It's god awful, and that's in 19 games.
You know what I think about all the time with Daniel Jones, and I probably shouldn't, the play in Philadelphia. He extended the play in the pocket. Saquon Barkley was stopped, so they had to go to the passing game. Playoff game I'm talking about. Daniel Jones extends the play in the pocket. He moves with some fluidity. He moves out of the rush. But then again, his lack of blindside awareness creeps up, sack fumble. And he didn't even feel the guy from behind. And I think to me, that is a microcosm of what he is. He can do things well within a moment, but then that moment when things get flustered, break down. And I don't know if he loses concentration or he just does. And I've talked about this before. Sometimes quarterbacks just don't have a blindside feel. And I've said this from the moment Daniel Jones was drafted to the moment I saw his first preseason game, and people can go back and watch the video. I said this, he is probably the worst quarterback that I've ever seen in reference to blindside awareness. And I said, I think it was after his second preseason game that he needs to improve that, or he's going to get himself killed, or he is going to lose a bunch of fumbles.
Yeah.
And and going into year 4, after the end of year 4, that play to me was a dichotomy of his entire career. He did things well on that play. And then it just all went to hell in the handbasket because of the fact that I don't know if he has a true football feel. Joe Montana was magic on the field, except when Leonard Marshall wrecked him, was magic on the field in reference to feeling the rush. You have so many quarterbacks. Dan Marino was the same way. He sensed the rush. He understands.
Peyton Manning.
I was getting to Peyton Manning.
Even Eli. Eli
would go down like he was fucking shot at times. And then you would see a guy go over his head because he sensed that somebody was there and he was about to take the hit. Instead of taking the hit, taking the fumble, instead of taking he would take the sack and understand that you fight another down. And I don't know if he's there yet. And I think taking away your Barkley weapon may not be the best route. But let's run these because I got to talk to you about Dalvin Cook. I have talked about Dalvin Cook. Todd said the time still exists that you can still stop either other team from scoring a lot by eating clock with a running game. Yeah.
Or just sustaining drives.
The running back in the NFL, says James, is irrelevant as a big man in the NBA. Oh, wait. Yeah. Joker won the back-to-back MVPs in the championships last year. Chris says, I agree with Rob, but I would add that having Barkley will make the defense, at least early on, the key on a Super Bowl instead of the wide receiver and tight end. my thing is about, and like I said, I think hopefully Waller stays healthy, but here's the problem. Waller's 2 years removed from having an injury, a non-injury season. Paris Campbell came out and said he's only a Giant because he couldn't get money anywhere else. And the fact that this is his first season without an injury. So I'm excited about both for the offense, but both have warts. And I think that concerns me a little bit more and more. Michael says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Tim.
Morning, Mike.
Rob. Let's see here. Todd Taylor says Joe Mixon's contract does not matter because Mixon is not as important as the Bengals as the Barkley.
I would agree.
Chris says that Cincinnati's offense does not run through Joe. Let's see here. So we got LeVar.
Well, it does run through Joe, just not Mixon.
Just not Joe Mixon. It says, I'm here. LeVar says, let's talk. Let's see here. Will Levis is a worse version of Daniel Jones. We'll have to wait and see. To protect, it says, pay Barkley. Can't be the worst pain than Leonard Williams. That's true. Hold on. King of the almost sacked. Jabari Bruce is in the house. We haven't seen Jabari in a while. Love you, Tim. This is the one point I have a completely different opinion than you. I think we should let him walk. I wish that I could come online and speak with you. Hey, you come online, little Bruce Mister later, but not right now. But definitely have you on. We got Talk with Zoe. Those that don't know Talk with Zoe, up and coming wonderful Giant YouTuber and a friend of the channel. I think the Giants signed Dalvin, Trey Saquon if they can't get a deal done. Doesn't send a very good message to the locker room, but the NFL is a business. We're going to talk about Dalvin Cook in a minute, but I just want to make sure. We got Wolfie HD, and this is a non-Jones or Barkley question. Who was the recent Giant player who thought they would break out but never made it? Mine is Matt from Connecticut. Mine's O'Shane Ximines. I thought O'Shane Ximines coming out of Old Dominion with his 10.5 sacks had limited pass rushing capabilities and skills. I understood that, but I thought the Giants coaching staff would coach him up a little bit, and he would come at least a guy that would get anywhere between 5 to 9 sacks a year. To me, like I said, I'm going O'Shane Ximines.
I'm torn here, but I'm gonna go Ellerson Smith. People thought Ellerson Smith was going to be this,
but he's more because of injury though right now.
Yeah, but so was O'Shane. O'Shane got hurt. O'Shane had,
but he's played more.
True.
And O'Shane,
right, fine. We got to go with somebody who played more.
Yeah, someone that played, someone that's been on the field. My second one was Darnay Holmes.
I could go Darnay. All right, I'll take Darnay. Make it easy.
Darnay for 100, Gene.
I'll take Darnay for 200, please.
Let's see. Alex Sports. What's up, Alex Sports? The team is going to blitz more without Barkley. Paris Campbell basically is a one pro season player. We got the Admiral with Tumber say Andrew Thomas rated 7th around the offensive tackles. It's all good. All right, Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, let's hear what people are cooking with Cook.
Dalvin Cook is now is not now, but recently has been connected with the Jets. And they said there is clearly a level of interest between Dalvin Cook and the Jets right now. And
I would understand why. Dalvin kind of resembles Aaron Jones, who Rodgers had in Green Bay.
I was thinking the same thing. But my question is this. Somebody sent me, I don't remember if it was you or someone sent me an instant message or DM, whatever it's called on Twitter, that a certain YouTuber, and I'm not going to say the person's name because I think they're an idiot, Fisk Vegas, was saying that the Giants should get rid of Barkley and sign Dalvin Cook. And I know Zoe just talked about this. Now, I know people seem to forget.
You mean the same guy that a year ago was saying pay Barkley and pay Jones whatever they want?
Yeah, that guy.
Interesting.
That guy. Interesting. That's the one.
Interesting.
But now we're not going to talk about the salary cap implication. We're not going to talk about salary cap issues. We're not going to talk about how this could potentially be perceived inside the Giant organization reference to the players. We're not going to talk about any of that. But it's welcome to fantasy disco. I mean, it doesn't make sense to me from a Giant standpoint to go out and sign. And now again, this is Madden. Go out and sign Dalvin Cook and release Saquon Barkley,
who already Dalvin said he wants $9 to $10 million.
And I was about to say he wants the same amount of money that you're going to tag Barkley with. And then the fact that you're going to let a 26-year-old running back who was drafted and has gone through this organization and is a fan favorite among some people, not Daniel Jones lovers, but is a fan favorite and a guy that has been a soldier for this team. And I've talked about this before. The two injuries that Daniel Jones had, year 2 when he twisted his ankle was off a bad pass from Daniel Jones. And then the other, the year 4 when he was coming back from the ACL, when he missed a couple of games, was off another bad pass by Daniel Jones. I love it because my wife always goes, Daniel Jones is trying to get Saquon Barkley killed. I was like, well, I don't know about that, but yeah. But why would you? I mean, just from a logistical standpoint, Rob, a football standpoint, what is? Explain it to me.
I mean, it's just I hear people saying this shit all the time, man. Like, it's just fucking hilarious, dude. It really is. I think it just shows that some people on Twitter and on social media, I think they need they just need to take like a vacation because they're just spewing shit out. It's like they ate a freaking laxative and it's coming out the wrong end, the wrong hole. It's coming out of the attic instead of coming out of the fucking basement. Like it just, I don't get it, man. You got a guy, like you said, you got a guy 26, drafted in 2018, knows that been in the locker room, been through the hard times, been through the struggles, knows who's, has a good relationship with some of your core value guys like Daniel Jones, like Dexter Lawrence, like Leonard Williams, right? Like Darius Slayton, has a good relationship with these guys. And not to mention, here's the thing too, like this offensive line, guys like Andrew Thomas, guys like Mark Lewinsky, and even Evan Neal, right? They know how Barkley runs the football. Maybe not so much Evan Neal, but Evan Neal played more time, a decent amount of time with Barkley last year. You want to bring in a running back that they've never played with, that could affect how they run the football because, the blockers, they get used to how Barkley runs. Barkley gets used to how the offensive line blocks. And then, it makes for a good marriage. You've had a whole year now where the only position that you're replacing is probably the center position with a rookie and maybe the left guard position. But the left guard that could be starting, they both play with Barkley, whether it's Josh Azudu or Ben Bredesen. So the only newcomer on the offensive line is JMS. And so I don't see it, man. I don't see how Dalvin Cook makes sense. I don't see what I love to know where people are getting their drugs at because clearly they're getting some good stuff.
Well, I love some of this. The giant YouTube community has monopoly on crack supply. There has to be some good drugs, and make sure we hit the chat, make sure you hit the like because everyone else we've got 75 great people sitting in the room waiting on the Barkley countdown. So you're telling me
if Dalvin was like 23, right? Let's just say he got drafted in like the 3rd round, and this was like his 3rd year, and he got cut, because maybe the Vikings signed somebody. Okay, maybe I could understand you want to get younger. You want to get a little bit more fresh legs. Okay. They're the same age.
He'll be 27 in August. Barkley will not be 27 till February of next year. So there's a little bit. I mean, it's not really an age difference. Not much. I mean, it's
either a year difference in age, difference in age almost.
And let's be honest, Dalvin played in the dome, played with a prolific passing game. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying he can't come in with the Giants and do wonderful things.
Oh, but when you play in an open stadium and in the cold, it's different. Those hits that you're taking, they hurt a little bit more. Those muscles, they tighten up just a little bit quicker. You know what I mean? So,
and honestly, where did Dalvin Cook go to college? Florida State.
So he's used to the warm weather.
He's used to the warm weather in the dome, and you're going to put him in December in MetLife. And then
Saquon Barkley. Let the Jets do this. Let the Jets do this.
Saquon Barkley, who played at Penn State and Happy Valley.
He deals with the cold.
He deals with the cold all the time. I have a problem with running backs that have big statistics indoors. You know, I go to Eric Dickerson after he left the Rams, and he performed well for a period of time in the dome. And then when he went out to the Raiders and everything else, he kind of went downhill, and he didn't have 1,000 yards again until he went, I think, to the Rams, which is all, and not the Rams, the Falcons, which is indoors. So, I mean, I just don't see the logic or the thought process of paying the guy the same amount of money you would give to Saquon Barkley. If someone that doesn't know the offense, someone that's been playing in the dome, played most of his career in Florida.
Yep.
And then you would sit there and wonder, okay, yeah, because he's from Miami, so he's never really experienced.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, it's either going to be New York. I think Miami, the Dolphins are in play potentially. You know, maybe, and I think maybe Buffalo, because he'd want to go and play with his brother. You know, he ain't going. No, chat. No, Giants fans. Sorry, but no. 100 times no.
100 times no.
Put down the alcohol at 8 o'clock in the morning. Don't be drinking. It's just absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Giants 34. People that want Barkley to walk, I guarantee they're the ones who are saying we need to find a number one running back, just like fans wanted Odell gone, and we're still looking for a number one wide receiver on this team.
Oh, dude, like listen, Giants 34, and I'm saying this now. I'm calling it. You heard it here first. I've been saying it, but you heard it here first. These people that are saying, yo, go ahead and don't sign Barkley, put him on the tag, this, that, whatever, blah, 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 blah. If Daniel Jones is struggling next year and Barkley's carrying us to wins and carries us to another playoff appearance and we win a playoff game because of Barkley, y'all, those same people will be like, oh, man, Joe Schoen. Joe Schoen got it done. They brought back Hey, man, Joe Schoen. Hey, Joe Schoen had a great offseason. You know what? He signed Barkley. He brought in Sean. He got drafted this guy, Joe Schoen. Joe Schoen. Woo! Thank God we got Barkley back. Thank God. You know, that's what these fucking people will be saying.
I can't. You're right. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to ask the chat this question because I ask this question every week, and I want to get. If I knew how to do a poll, I would do a poll. But I ask this question every week: if Daniel Jones had the exact same stats and the Giants only won 6 games, would he still be on this team? And like I said, I ask it every week because I think it's an honest question. It's not a bashing Daniel Jones, but if you combined all of his stats, he has 3,500 yards, 22 touchdowns, only 3,000 passing, 15 touchdowns. And they only won 6 games. He's not here. He's nowhere to be found. Winning 3 extra games cures all ills. And winning that playoff game got him a contract. Now, we've talked about it before. Sometimes people have a good playoff game and then they get the big contract and then, they go back to what they were.
I think it's a combination of a couple of things. I think it's the 3 extra wins. I think it's where they were picking in the draft, right? Like, even if we had 6 or 7 wins, you have a top 15. Maybe they don't even draft a quarterback. I still don't think they bring back Daniel Jones. I think at that point they probably let him walk and they bring in a veteran for cheap. Yeah. They bring in a Jacoby Brissett. They bring in a Marcus Mariota. They bring in somebody, to kind of bridge the gap for a year, and then they'd be going after a quarterback in 2024. Jones would not be here. Or maybe he would be here, and he signed a 1-year, $20 million deal or $25 million deal or some cheap fucking deal to come back here for a year because they wouldn't tag him at $32 million.
No.
So, I mean, that's the thing, and it's an honest question from Tim because these people that say, oh, Jones this and oh, Jones that and blah, 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 and all of this bullshit, you ask them, same stats, same everything, 6 wins instead of 9, no playoff appearance. Is Jones still here? And the answer is going to be no. The answer is going to be no. So really the only difference, which is what I've been saying, the only difference is that these fans that are so gung-ho on Twitter about Daniel Jones, these guys that are on Twitter and making these videos and all of this other stuff about how Daniel Jones is the Lord and Savior, and everything like that, and he's the best thing since Eli Manning or since Peyton or since sliced bread or whatever the case may be. They're going off of the high that we won 9 games last year. Daniel Jones was on the team. He had a good playoff performance against a bad Vikings team, but he had a great performance nonetheless. Put up statistics that not many quarterbacks can put up, and then that's it. And that's what they're riding off of. Because if he did the exact same seasonal stats and just didn't make the playoffs, he probably actually would have had more stats during the regular season because he wouldn't have sat out week 17.
Right.
So, and he would have played. So he would have had more stats and he wouldn't be here. Wouldn't be here.
I want to run through these real quick also. Hey, Tim, Estelle Howell says, hey, Tim Roberts, using my wife's one at the moment. Mine broke. Everyone in the chat. What's up? What's good? Barkley signs. Don't worry. Also want to saw a super chat from Mr. Jackson. I haven't seen Mr. Jackson in a while. I'm back. Have we won a Super Bowl yet? No, we haven't won a Super Bowl yet. And I want to make sure I get a bunch to these. Let's see. I want to get to this one, this 6'9" niche. He's a fucking idiot. And I'm going to send him on his merry fucking way because he's a failed baseball player. And he likes to try to think he's really sweet and really cool. And he's like, I'm gonna show you up. You know what? I just showed you up, motherfucker. You got blocked. How about them apples? Let's see here. I'm not a bitter person.
You're not a bitter person?
Not a bitter person. I just don't like stupid people. Faux shizzle. We got the Dom in the house. We got the King of Poppycock because we're bringing it in along. We got James says big Don Juan in his house. Captain Matumbo says, can we bring back Joe Judge to the team as an equipment manager or something? No, because I don't want that juju around the team. Dominic says, I've seen The Wire. Baltimore might want to be on the crack supply. It's Christopher Tony. Okay, I wonder who Still Howell was. James says letting Saquon go and signing Cook would be such a Knicks move. You're right. It would be such a Knicks move. And we want to try that. We got Christopher Love MMA and the big time his house. And big respect for Tim. Go big for Big Blue family. We got Rick saying, what does Rick say? Big mistake not retaining 26. Please don't do this. At the end of the day, Rob, and I want to keep getting to the chats, but at the end of the day, we're closing in 28 hours from the deadline. Your opinion, and we know nothing. And I love it because I'm reading to protect number one. He goes, I hate stupid people too. Yes, I do hate stupid people. At the end of the day, what do the Giants do? I mean, really, what is if you had $20 to bet, $20 to wager, what are the Giants going to do by 4 p.m. on Monday?
I think the Giants are going to cave. Here. I think that Barkley and his team representation are going to get what they want, which is a long-term contract. I think it's going to be like 4 years. Probably in the realm of like $45 million with probably 26 to 28 million guaranteed. That's what I think.
Now, people have pointed out on Twitter that the 19 million guaranteed would be less money than the 2 years on the tag guaranteed. So many people are put that out there. So you're saying, guaranteed?
Yeah, or something like that. Like whether it's like 40 million and they do like if it's like 42. All right, let me change it. If they did it's like 4 years, 42 million. I'd say anywhere between maybe 24 and 26 million.
See, I'm thinking he wants at least 28 guaranteed.
That's my feeling too, and that's what I'm thinking. So maybe they meet in the middle. Maybe it's like a 25 or a 26 gets it done.
Now, here's the issue that nobody's talking about. He's already got a $10 million cap hit on the current cap situation. Giants right now with the rule of 51 only have about $4 million in cap space. So Joe Schoen
they got to drop his cap this year.
So they're going to have to drop his cap significantly this year.
Probably like 5 or 6 million.
At least 5 or 6 million. So you're going to probably either going to have to give him a lot more bonus money or extend out some of that guaranteed money.
Like with a void year
for the first 3
Maybe
years.
they give him a void year, like a 4-year deal with a void year, and like
he's already pissed off by giving the void year to Leonard Williams.
I mean, that's what I mean. Look, like he's pissed off about that, but he had no other choice. You know, I'm sure. Yeah, he had no choice. Gettleman left him, you know, with what he did. But look, in the same point, you got no choice again. You paid your quarterback. You know what I mean? Like, what do you want? Like what? I spent weeks. On here, you know, talking with so many different people about, you know, oh, it makes sense, and you need to do the extension. It'll be better for the Giants. We'll have more money. And here we are, July 16th, and the Giants have $3 to $4 million in available cap space. And right now, Joe Schoen is in his drawers, going through his piggy bank, collecting all of the pennies and nickels and dimes and quarters he's got, putting them into the roll, and he's getting ready to head to the bank and try to cash them in.
He went to the Gold Star machine that you see in the supermarkets where you put in all your coins.
Put in all the coins, and you get a receipt, and then you get the cash out. Like, this is what we're doing yet again, folks. And I called this before the Jones thing went down. For all of you fans that were like last year, when the team was winning, oh, we need to trade for this player. We need to trade for this wide receiver. We should get this. And you're looking at Spotrac and you're looking at over the cap. Oh, what's his cap hit? Can the Giants make it make sense? Can they do it? And, oh, DJ Moore, it's only $1.17 million. Oh, Jerry Jeudy, it's only $950. You're going to be doing that shit again. You're going to be shopping yet again. We're going to hear the phrase, he's going to be shopping with an EBT card during the trade deadline. He's going to be shopping with an EBT card because they committed big-time money to players that they should not have committed, mainly just one player, Daniel Jones, that they should not have committed this type of money to, and that's it. And that is what it is, folks. That is what it is. But I thought this was supposed to work, Tim. I thought this was supposed to be what gave the Giants money.
Listen, I have been saying now for I don't know how many weeks about the Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley contracts don't make sense under the cap. I've been saying it for weeks now because of the fact that, like I said, we're sitting a little over 4, but you still have 2 open roster spots that you have to account for when training camp breaks. Mm-hmm. So we just don't have the plethora of money yet. And honestly, pushing back a lot of the money that we have been into 2024, that cap number is going down too. So I understand Joe Schoen's trying to protect the cap space, but let's get to Tuto Super Chat in here. A massive salute to respect to the big boss, Tim and Rob, and all the diehard fans in the building. Please slap them stinky boys out the freaking door. Forget about it. What's up, Mr. Tuto? Let me get to a couple more of these too real quick before I want to ask you my next question. There was I saw one from here far away. I don't necessarily agree with what I believe, but I think it's the reason Barkley is getting pushed aside. Let's see here. Giant 34. So hit the chat, everyone. Let's say I hope all is well with you guys. Let's go, Big Blue. We got James. Where I saw one from Dom. Dom says, I can help you with the poll. Oh, you want a poll? My bad. Oh, the poll, but I'm bummed.
And actually, really quick to interrupt, we have 76 people watching this, and we only have 27 likes.
Yes,
get those likes up, folks. We
don't
even have half. Amount of likes to viewership.
We were at 80 something a little while. We were at 83 a few minutes ago.
Get those likes up.
I love it because we were at 83. I clicked on a Dom chat and we dropped down to 75. That's why we called Dom this. We called Dom the stream killer. But I love him like a brother. Zach Attack says Zach Attack super shots. Good old Philadelphia Children's Hospital. Barkley wants 20 gold American
Eagle coins.
Maybe he does. Maybe he does.
Maybe he wants some Bitcoin.
Maybe give us some Bitcoin. I don't know. Let's see here. Let's see. The Admiral says if Waller plays 90% of the season, can he be 10 plus touchdowns and 1,000-yard machine for the Raiders days? Or are we getting a beat up goods? I think if he plays 90% of the season, Waller, I could see him 1,000. I don't know about 10 touchdowns, maybe 7.
I can see Waller if he plays 90% of the season. I can see him between like the 8 to 1,000 yard range, and I could see him. I could see him in the 7 to 10 touchdown range, somewhere in there, 7 to 10 touchdown range. I could see him doing that. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. Dom says, I got to go, but this is the one time I sign a running back over quarterback. I really hope Barkley signs, but I am concerned. I'm a little concerned too. I'm going to get into my concerns in a minute. Zach says the Giants are making their own problem. You know, that is kind of apropos. We're back over 8. Look what happened. I said that Dom is leaving. We're back over 86. And then I said Dom, we dropped down 82. Because Dom knows he's a stream killer. He doesn't know.
Damn it, Dom.
He doesn't. We're back over 40 likes now. But in some ways, Rob, I think you're right. I think the Giants are kind of creating their own problem. And they're talking about team. They're talking about continuity. They're talking about that, they're talking about culture. Who is the perfect culture guy for this team? When you think of culture, I think of Saquon Barkley. No.
Matt Breida.
Matt Breida.
Daniel Jones.
Yeah, Daniel Jones. Scottish Hammer.
It's Eric Gray.
It's Eric Gray. Hey, listen,
first year here, but you know what? He's a leader.
Well, did you see his thighs, Eric Gray?
Oh my God, it's great quads.
Great quads. That automatically means he's going to be a great running back.
Great quads.
I saw that on Twitter the other day. I almost fell over. Let's see. What does Wolfie see here? I love the 20 gold American Eagles. Wolfie said, here's the thing. If Jones becomes a franchise quarterback this year, Shane looks like it was a great contract. If he flops, Shane doesn't hear the end of it. I think this is the thing with Jones's contract. And I don't have a problem with Jones's contract besides the fact that I wouldn't have given it to him. You could still get out. You could still get out in year 3. You're going to pay for it a little bit. But if he has an average season or the same similar season that he had in 2022 and 2023, Rob,
can't move on.
You could still use him as a bridge. And then get rid of him in 2025.
Yeah, because I think the dead cap is like 20 million or something like that.
It's 18 million in his third year. It's 18 million.
Yep.
18 million dead cap number. So you could still get rid of him and you can use him as a bridge if he repeats the same success. I just keep thinking of now when you were calling the almighty Daniel Jones. I was going to pray to the altar of Daniel. I just keep
lift up your hearts.
I just love that. But I mean, so I think it's not a bad contract. And to Wolfie's point, if he excels and becomes a franchise quarterback, then the deal looks great.
Mm-hmm. No, it does. It does. But look, here's the thing, Wolfie, is that if he comes out and he plays great, guess what? In 2025, he's going to want a new contract.
You want more money.
You're going to want more money. Right, and if you think right now money's tight, if he's getting more money, it's going to be even tighter. But at that point, if he's getting another contract, he should be able to make up for some of the deficiencies or the lack of talent on this football team with his play. And that's my point. Like, that's what I've always said, is that we're sitting here saying Jones needs this, Jones needs this, Jones needs this. But yet it's not like he's got the little giants out there at wide receivers. It's not like he's got guys. It's not like he's got what's that guy's name for the replacements that had the wide receiver. Yeah, he doesn't have Clifford Franklin out there. You know what I'm saying? He's not having to throw toilet paper rolls to a wide receiver because he can't catch it, right? Nobody's using stickums. Like, he has football players, right? The Kansas City Chiefs saw value in a guy like Richie James and brought him in. Now, if Andy Reid and the Chiefs see value in a player, the Giants fans want to diminish him, and say, oh, this guy was terrible, but yet the Chiefs brought him in, and what? Like, clearly the Chiefs don't think he's terrible, right? They signed him. They brought him in. People want to rant and rave about Paris Campbell. The guy didn't have any offers. Nobody wanted to sign this guy. And we're the only ones that made him an offer.
Literally come out and say that.
Like, and that's from his mouth. We are the only ones that made it. He's like, I didn't know that it wasn't going to be this, it was going to be this bad. And, this was the only option I had. That's basically what he said. Like, this was his only opportunity to go and do anything. Why? Because he's been hurt. He's got to prove something. That doesn't mean he won't. Just saying, like, nobody was banging down the door saying, oh my God, we got to go get this guy, Paris Campbell. He's electrifying. This isn't John Travolta in Grease at the end. Okay. So it just.
So you didn't get chills? They weren't multiplying?
No, I'm not some of these. I got chills. They're multiplying. And we signed Paris Campbell. He's the answer to our prayers. He's better than James. Better than James.
I just found my R0B soundbite. Because we always have the draft baby from Dom, but I have the now R0B. Yeah. Just on a side note, if you want to piss off Orlando Jones, who is also known as Clifford Franklin, call him Clifford Franklin. I ran into him in a bar in Miami, and I couldn't remember his name, so I kept calling him Clifford Franklin. Evidently, he doesn't like that. So just if you see him, just call him Clifford Franklin, just see what happens.
That's funny as hell.
I couldn't remember his fucking name. I couldn't remember his name at all. Dom says, ultimately, DJ plays this year will determine whether Shane was right or not. I fear he won't be good. I'm hoping that I'm wrong. Just remember, if you hope that you're wrong, you're still not a true Giant.
Dom, what the fuck are you still doing here?
I was going to say, I thought he had to leave.
Damn it, Dom. Now we're at 74. Get out of here.
Get out. Dom's name. Dom. I'm sorry. I can never bring Dom back up there. What do we got here? Whoops. I lost one there. Come on, click on. There we go. Towards the end of 2021, I really wanted Jones out, but this past season with Dable, I think Jones has improved. I like to see what he does this year before I call the contract a mistake. I'm not calling the contract a mistake, and we talked about this before, Rob. Can you name me a quarterback going into, I should rephrase it. Can you name me a quarterback in modern times going into year 5 where we're still sitting there saying, okay, if this happens, he'll be this?
Trent Dilfer. Maybe. He's the only guy that I can fucking think of.
Trent Dilfer was a starter for a bunch of years in Tampa. He just wasn't good. Yeah. He wasn't good anywhere else he went either. But I can't think of a quarterback going into year 5 in the modern era where you are still wondering what he is going to be.
Yeah, no, it's you don't find this. You don't find this. And listen, to Lavinge, look, there's nothing wrong with saying that Jones, maybe improved on some things, but you know what?
Well, I think he has improved on certain things.
I think he has improved on things, but and he's done some good. But you know what good coaches do? Good coaches do things to avoid players looking really bad, to cover up deficiencies. That's what they do. Good coaches, right? You see it all the time. Sean Payton was great at, covering up Drew Brees' deficiency of him being short, and did a lot of creative things, right? Did a lot of creative things. You look at Doug Peterson, the year in 2017 when Carson Wentz went down, he did a great job of covering up some of the deficiencies with that team, with with having, Nick Foles jump in there and stuff like that. You see Andy Reid last year with really no wide receiver talent on the field. Obviously you got Patrick Mahomes, but you see how creative he got to cover up some of the deficiencies. You saw more of that Kelsey, Mahomes magic, right? Good coaches do things that can cover up players' deficiencies and make players look good, right? But when you go to another team, you may not look that good, right? And at that point, that's more of a test to the coach that they came from versus the player. Like if Daniel Jones went to the Falcons after playing with Daboll and did not show improvement, that's a knock on Jones, not Dave's. And that's more of a positive on Brian Daboll, because he was able to cover up some of the deficiencies that Daniel Jones had, right? And nobody really gives, like, I give Brian Daboll a lot more credit, because listen, for a coach that had a quarterback that in 10 games threw for less than 200 yards, And in 5 games, threw for 200 yards or a little bit over 200 yards. And in 2 games, threw for more than 200, or 2 or 3 games, threw for over 250 yards. He was able to coach his team to a playoff appearance and win a playoff game. But nobody talks about that. Like nobody gives Brian Daboll a lot of that praise. Like Brian Daboll is a good football coach, and people automatically, what I don't like is they say, "Oh, he's the best coach in the NFL. Or he's the best coach in the NFC," and you give him this thing, right? And I don't think anybody would disagree and say that Bill Belichick is one of the best coaches to ever coach football, like one of the best head coaches to ever coach football. He's there. I don't hear anybody complaining about him having Mac Jones at quarterback and say, "Man, if he just had a better quarterback, he would be so good." But people want to tie and think that Brian Daboll can only and is only going to be successful because Daniel Jones is his quarterback. You don't think that Brian Daboll would have success if he had somebody else? You don't think that Brian Daboll would be able to do and make that any quarterback look decent enough? Like that's what I'm trying. Like, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So
this is the thing about quarterbacks. Lovie Smith. I think Lovie Smith was a good head coach. I mean,
very good head coach.
Everyone kind of remembers what happened at the end with the Texans, where he went 3-13, but he had no talent. Lovie Smith in 2006 went to the Super Bowl with Rex
Grossman, bro.
Ron
Taylor
was the offensive coordinator. They played to the strengths of Rex Grossman, and they went 13-3, and they made it all the way to the Super Bowl and had an opportunity to win. But Rex Grossman became Rex Grossman. And I'm not saying Daniel Jones is Rex Grossman. I'm just saying that a good coach, and I think Lovie Smith does not get the credit for being as good of a coach as he is or was. But a good coach can take a quarterback like a Rex Grossman, a good offensive coordinator. And Ron Taylor is another guy. Ron Turner, is another guy who I don't think he gets the credit as an offensive coordinator. They can take a guy that has limited talent and limited ability, mold a system to them, and have that quarterback take them to win games. Now, the problem is you can only do that for a period of time before the wheels fall off the bus. And that quarterback becomes the quarterback everyone knew he was, and the league figures it out. I'm not saying that's going to happen with Daniel Jones, but I'm just saying a good coach, a really good coach, could take, in some regards, a pile of garbage. I'm not saying Daniel Jones is a pile of garbage. I'm saying Rex Grossman was. And turn him into something that he's not for a short period of time until the league adjusts.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And like I said, and that's not a slant against Daniel Jones. I'm just thinking that it is what it is. Glee wants to know, what game are you all excited to see this year? I'm excited. Week one. And
because I think that means everything.
Week one
means it all.
I am more excited that if Saquon Barkley's not here week one, what the Giants do. I'm more interested in seeing that, because then you've reached the pinnacle. Was it a Daniel Jones offense? Was it a Barkley offense? You then reached that.
I think they're going to come out in that game like they came out in Tennessee. They're going to I think they're going to come out trying to throw everything out at Daniel Jones and see what happens, and see if he gets into a shell like he did against Tennessee, and they have to revert back to older schemes or different way, the next few weeks.
And I love it. If Tennessee doesn't miss that 35-yard field goal at the end, we're not even having that conversation.
No.
That's
I mean, I still think they changed the offense around.
Yeah.
And they try to simplify it for them, which is what they did. But yeah, no, I agree with you in totality. You know what's funny too? I just thought about this. Mike McCarthy won 4 games with Cooper Rush.
Yeah.
Last year.
People forget that.
Won 4 games with Cooper Rush last year. Nobody gives him any credit.
Nope.
But I guarantee you, if Brian Daboll came out here and won 4 games with Tommy DeVito or fucking Tyrod Taylor.
Say Tyrod Taylor. No, let's not give Tommy.
People would be like, "Oh my God, Brian Daboll. He's the best. He's Brian Daboll. You're so amazing. Brian.
Yeah, 100%.
But the other point of this is like, if Mike McCarthy can do that in 4 games, and in some cases you could say that Cooper Rush outperformed Dak,
He did.
in those 4 games, and some of the he like outperformed Dak. If Mike McCarthy can do that with Cooper Rush, I wonder what Brian Dable could do with somebody else. I wonder what Brian Dable could do with like a Justin Fields. I wonder what Brian Dable could do with another quarterback, somebody coming in that's not Daniel Jones. Like, what would he be able to do?
Right.
Marcus Mariota or Jacoby Brissett or somebody, right? Like, what would he be able to do? Right? Like, all of these players have great assets. Like we talk about Barkley. He can run, he can catch. Jones he can make all of the throws. He has the arm strength to do so. He just has to do it, but he can run the football. But there are quarterbacks that are better passers than they are runners. So it's like, okay, if you got a guy like, I don't know, Jacoby Brissett that maybe doesn't run as well as Daniel Jones, but maybe he throws the ball a little bit more because he can make anticipated throws. He can go through his progressions quicker. He can handle more of a load from a scheme standpoint or a game plan standpoint. Like, you can throw more at him without him fucking going all loosey-goosey, right? That's going to aid your team. That's going to make you better offensively in the passing game. That's going to open up things in the running game. That's what needs to happen this year. Week 1, I say it all the time, and Tim doesn't agree, but I do. Week 1 is going to be the deciding factor on how this team performs the rest of the year. Because you lose this game week 1, there's a shot that you go 1-6 by the time you get to week 7. There's a hot chance you go 1-6.
In the first 9 games, the Giants could potentially go 2-7.
They could go 2-7 in the first 9 games. Because those games, I would say Arizona is a for sure win, right? And maybe you split with Washington. With Washington. But if you lose Dallas, then you turn around, you got to play Arizona, which is a win. Then you got to go to San Francisco. Then you have to go home to Seattle. Then you have to go to Miami. You have to go to Buffalo. Like,
it's not an easy road to hoe.
It's not. It's not an easy road at all.
This is what I hope, that the Giants lose week 1 and then run off 16 in a row. So I could go to you. Told you, didn't mean shit.
Whatever.
That's all I want. I want to get to Strider's comment real quick. So this is something I want to talk about. I also want to get to a bunch of these comments. He says, Tim, I'm starting to think the deal will not get done by tomorrow. I really do hope they get Barkley deal done. Plus, he's half the offense. DJ doesn't get those big runs without Barkley. And this is kind of what you were talking about, Rob. And this is what I want to say. I don't mind having a running quarterback.
Neither do I.
But the problem is this: Daniel Jones is more of a run by design quarterback. He is not. I've said this before. He is like a point guard who can't create his own shot. He kind of has to have a design play, and there's nothing wrong with that. But when one of your best attributes is the fact that you are a runner, but you are not an instinct. Jalen Hurts to me is an instinctive runner. Michael Vick was an instinctive runner. They understand they could create their own things. I just don't think Daniel Jones can do that without it being vis-a-vis design.
Yeah.
And when you say, well, one of the best parts about Daniel Jones is he's a running quarterback. Well, he's not really a running quarterback. He's a quarterback who runs. There's a difference between being a running quarterback and a quarterback that runs. And I think that is to Strider's point. What worries me that you take away Saquon Barkley away from Daniel Jones, and you don't have that second threat. Teams are going to be smart enough to understand, okay, we just put a spy. We just take the strong safety. We take the free safety. We put an extra guy in the box. Daniel Jones wants to run up the middle. Go right ahead. I'm going to lay wood on you.
Yeah.
And
no,
that
look,
me.
To me, the best example that I gave, because when I tried to explain this, some people wanted it to take it like it's a color thing, and it's not a color thing, right? Back in the day, I used to go to a park every Saturday when I was younger, and I used to play pickup football. And we would do 10 on 10, 11 on 11, 12 on 12. Like, it was big. And I told somebody, I said, put yourself, if you had Lamar, Josh Allen, Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, you had 10, pick 10 guys, right? And you have the first pick. You do laces or spaces, you get the first pick out of all of those players. There's no shot. I guarantee you, probably, maybe, you might put Daniel Jones like at the back end of being picked, because he's just not like, because when you're out there, you want the guys that can juke. You want the guys that can make those guys miss. He doesn't have that. Daniel is a straight line runner. He's not a juker, right? He's not going to, he's stiff arm, Patrick Peterson, big fucking whoop they do. Patrick Peterson's like 40 years old. Like, but when you look at Fields, you look at Lamar, you look at even Josh Allen, like, they'll put the move on you. They'll give you like a little wiggle stick.
Right.
They'll give you like that everybody likes that Saquon. They'll give you a little hee hee. Like, they'll give you a little hee, right? Jones doesn't have that. And so it's like, you brought up Michael Vick. Michael Vick created and opened up the running game for guys like Warwick Dunn, TJ Duckett, stuff like that. Like
TJ Duckett, dropping a TJ Duckett.
Like he opened up that running game. It wasn't that you needed to get Warwick Dunn and TJ Duckett going to open things up for Michael Vick.
And
Michael Vick, it was the other way around. So it's like right now, if you put Barkley on the Bills, Barkley, you won't say that Barkley will open up runs for Josh. Josh will open up runs for Barkley.
Yeah.
If you put Barkley on the Ravens, Lamar is going to open up running lanes for Barkley, not the other way around. So, like, that's just the way that it is. Guy like J.K. Dobbins, who's I think is a good player, I think if you put him on a team where he's got to be the main guy, like if you put J.K. Dobbins on the Giants, I don't think that J.K. Dobbins can do what Barkley does and open up the running lanes that Barkley does for Jones with J.K. Dobbins. You can't. And I think that is what you're talking about when you mentioned earlier in the beginning of the show where 31 other teams don't do what we do. It's not the same situation with Darius Slayton's comments. It's not the same situation. Jones is not out here getting slick with it. Everybody wants to call him Vanilla Vic because he's fast. That's what it's about it. And he's got a jersey number that's one more than 7. That's it. That's really what it comes down to. So he's athletic. Don't get me wrong, but he needs Barkley to get that running game going. Because
I love the fact that he's got a jersey more than 7.
Yeah,
I've been trying to figure this out for 4 years now. Now I fucking get it. He's got to.
I fucking understand it. It's like you're not going to put Breida and Gray out there. Yeah, maybe collectively they might do well, but I don't think they're going to open up that running game like what Barkley does for Jones.
Right.
I don't think that they will. I don't think that they will.
Todd says it best right here. Jones needs X. Don't sign Barkley though. That's crazy. And we always talk about everything that Jones needs. We ever talk about the offense? Everyone talks about a horrid offensive line for Daniel Jones. Everyone talks about a horrid passing game for Daniel Jones, but that never seems to translate over to what Saquon Barkley needs. If Saquon Barkley doesn't have an offensive line, he can't run. Saquon Barkley doesn't have a quarterback that has some ability to take pressure off him. He can't find the holes. If you don't have a passing game, it's not going to open up any running lanes.
Hey guys, do you know what helps an offensive line? A quarterback that can go through the progressions fast and read the field. Does anybody ever talk about that?
No, we don't talk about that.
And when I say fast, I don't mean like Washington where you're going to get mugged by 7 first-round picks. So you drop back, open up your stance, and just throw the check down. That's not going through. That's not like going through your progressions. That's dropping back, boom, 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 and you dish it out. You got to go through. You got to go through your progressions fast because that helps your offensive line. That helps it.
I love this. Rob is speaking Bible verses today. I love it. He's also singing songs from Greece. We also have Todd said, year 5 quarterback. He'll be great if we surround him with all pros. Stanley says, hey, Tim, would it be fair if the Giants gave Saquon Barkley a 4-year, $50 million deal contract, a $15 million signing bonus, and 35 guaranteed? If he did that, then he would take it in a heartbeat.
100%.
Yeah,
and the Giants would be bankrupt.
Yeah, the Giants would be bankrupt, but yeah, he would do that in a heartbeat. So yeah, what did we say? Hey Tim, it's been a long time since I popped. Yeah, actually, it hasn't been a long time since you popped in the stream, my friend. Where the hell you been hiding? School Scooter says, why so much hate for Jones? Let's see what he does with legit wide receivers, legit offensive line, grass cut exactly at 3/4 and 4/8 of an inch. We have to make sure that the wind is coming out of the northeast and the winter equinox is in full effect, and then Daniel Jones will pass for 200 yards. Let's see here. Estelle Howard says 13.5 million, 4 years, 28 guaranteed. I think that's the number.
I think that is. I think somewhere and I don't necessarily think the AAV matters. I think he's going to get, so the AAV is going to work out to where it's, somewhere in the 13 to 14 range. And then I think maybe, 24 to 26 million, I think probably gets it done. I can see him getting 28 million. I just think they're going to cave. I think they're going to cave. I said this the other day, like,
I hope they can.
I don't think that they want to go into another tag situation with Barkley next offseason, because I don't think it's going to get uglier. And I don't think that they thought that it was going to be as bad as it was this year.
I think they thought he was going to be a good soldier.
Yep.
Fall in line
and do what Dexter did and Jones did, is stay quiet. Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Both got paid. You could say that Dexter took a little less money, and it's no slight against Dexter Lawrence, but this last year was Dexter Lawrence's big year.
Well, no, what I meant was
big production year.
Yeah, but what I meant was, like, you didn't hear a peep from Dexter.
No.
You didn't hear a peep from Dexter. You didn't hear a peep from Jones. And I think that's what they thought Barkley was going to do. Because if you look at it, they did with Jones. Oh, he wants this. They painted Jones to be the bad guy. Jones never said anything. Oh, Dexter Lawrence, he turned down a top 3, defensive nose tackle offer. He's greedy. He's trying to get this. He's trying to get that. They tried to paint the same picture with Barkley, and he's like, no, you're not going to make me look like a greedy son of a bitch like you did with Daniel Jones and like you did with Dexter Lawrence. You're not going to make me look that way, because that's not the truth. And I don't think they anticipated him firing back. And rightfully so. Like, stick up for yourself, right? I don't think that they anticipated that. And I don't think they want to go through that again next year.
At the end of the day, this is Barkley's last contract. Big contract. This is
100%.
This is money.
Unless he signs like a 1-year deal somewhere or whatever.
This is the money that is going to put him and his family, could set him up for the rest of their lives, even though I think he's going to do more outside of football than he's going to make more money outside football than he ever did inside football. But this is the big money contract. Chris says Baker Mayfield is still a question mark. Baker Mayfield.
No, he's not.
We know
who Baker is.
We know he is. He's been either waived or traded. What now? 3 times? What is he on his third team?
That's a bad comparison, Chris. That's a very. You're actually making Jones the decision to sign Jones look bad, because that could be it. Like that could be Jones. Baker Mayfield could be Jones.
Could be Jones
in like the next 3 years, bro. He's traded, then he's cut, then he's signed, then he's traded again. Like, no, that's a bad example.
This is why I miss Indian Spices. Rex Grossman had strengths. No, I guess he didn't. Sam Howell better be
Hey, you know what's funny? Rex Grossman, he wore number 8.
Oh, he did wear number 8. That's right. Going back to Florida. He did have number 8. He did. I didn't even think about that one. Let's see here. More Daniel Jones. Now I see. So I think Daniel Jones is much like Alex Smith. Both shuffled through early career OC changes. I think with stability, Jones will be better than a caliber quarterback than Smith. I don't think that's saying much. I think Alex Smith.
No, it's not. That's a good quarterback. Like, I think Tim and me have said Jones is a good quarterback. Like, he's not a bad quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. Like, he is a good quarterback. He is a serviceable quarterback. You can win games with Daniel Jones. Like, there's we're not saying the guy sucks and he's trash and he's this, he's that. But now I see that the point that you just, this, what we can see right down here is the point is, like, if that is what he is, right? then why did we sign him? Why put ourselves through that? Like, why give him the long-term contract? What they should have done is just tag him twice and go from there. Right?
Mhm.
Like, that's what they should have done.
I think that's
Like,
what they wanted to do.
Give it, and that's what they wanted to do. They
Mhm.
wanted to tag him. They wanted to sign Barkley. They wanted to tag him, and then that's what it was. They were looking to do this. Mind you, guys, think about this for a second. They were looking to tag Jones, and we had a winning fucking record.
Yeah,
we had a winning record at the bye. We were 6-2. We were 6-2. We had a winning record. So if that is what he is, right, and I think that's what he is Alex Smith. Where did that get the Chiefs?
Well,
where did that get the Niners?
Here's the thing. Think about this with Alex Smith. He got replaced by a rookie, Colin Kaepernick.
Correct.
They drafted Patrick Mahomes while he was the starting quarterback.
While he went to, mind you, he had went to 2 conference championship games, I think, or they went to the playoffs twice back-to-back years.
That tells you what throughout Alex Smith's career. Go back to the 49ers. It was the playoff loss to the Giants the year prior that he got benched for Kaepernick. That caused 49ers, not only the franchise, but the fans, kind of sour on Alex Smith. Alex Smith had a winning record and got basically, he had some injuries involved also, but got benched for Colin Kaepernick. And that was one of those things that I always thought it was unfair to Alex Smith that he lost his job to Kaepernick when he did, but you can't argue with the results. And then the Chiefs think so highly of Alex Smith and think he can get him over the hump. They draft Patrick Mahomes. Alex Smith is a good, serviceable quarterback. Yes, he can win you some games. And that's what I think even Rob said the best. That's what we have said about Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
But the problem is this. At the end of the day, if you're going to have Trent Dilfer as your quarterback, you better have the 2000 Ravens defense.
Give me 2 seconds. I have a screaming baby.
Oh, okay.
I'll be right back.
Well, go see your screaming baby. If you have, if you have a quarterback like Brad Johnson, you better have the defense for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And that's the way you got to look at it at the end of the day. I'm going to run through a bunch of these because Rob's going to also, we're going to be heading out soon as well. Let's see. Mr. Oliver says people forget that Tyrod got hurt in the Bears game that was moving the ball downfield. The same thing with Jones on the field. It's not Jones. It was the coaching. I was at that game. I actually have to agree with that. Who's the quarterback in San Francisco now? You know what? I don't know who it's going to be. If it's going to be, well, they're saying Brock Purdy, but Trey Lance is still there as well. Indian Spice says the Packers and the Bears and the Saints in the past also have 50-50. Now I see, he says Brian Dable is not does the player fit the scheme of the coach? He is, can the player do now? And let's build a scheme. Yeah, it's because that's what he has to be right now. We got Mr. Jackson says, why didn't we just tag him then? I don't know. I heard the reports coming out that they wanted to tag Jones. Oh, they didn't tag him because of the fact that they couldn't get a long-term contract done with Barkley during the bye week. Mel Wett, what's going on, Mel Wett? If Barkley signs a contract in midseason last year, Jones would have been tagged in a heartbeat. You're right. And I see that question now. I'm a little slow today. Rob says Irish Rover got a good night's sleep last night. Yeah, he's all fired up. Indian Spice says, by the way, I saw that the new MI movie yesterday, one of the few great movies in the worst era of cinema. Tom Cruise is a gift that keeps on giving. I haven't seen any of the Mission Impossible movies. I actually know the director of the Mission Impossible movies. And some of the Mission Impossible, but I've never actually seen the Mission Impossible movies. Zach Attack says, do people forget about the 2019 Eagles where Carson Wentz took a bad team to a playoff berth? Captain the Admiral says, besides blitz, what are the other defensive looks you guys like from Sir Winks-a-Lot?
I don't think there's anything in particular that I like about Wink. I think specifically, obviously Wink is known for blitzing, but what I like is that where he puts his players, but I think just the positioning of his players, right? And how creative he gets. He'll come out of NASCAR, he'll do a lot of different things to get an advantage. I think it's just overall, right? I think it's when he took
philosophy.
Yeah, his overall philosophy, when you look at the Ravens, other than 2021, they were top 3 every year that he was the defensive coordinator in overall metrics. They allowed less than 20 points per game. They weren't giving a lot of passing yards. I think the most they ever gave up was like 213. That's not a lot. That's not a lot. Like if you're holding a quarterback to, 200 yards or a little bit over 200 yards through the air, like that's not bad. That's actually very, very good. They didn't give up much in the running game, right? So I think overall, he's just a really, really good defensive coordinator. He gets a lot of shit. I'll be very honest with you. And the biggest thing that he gets a lot of shit about, and we kind of talked about it on this show before, he doesn't have defenders that get a lot of sacks.
He doesn't have a single outside of that,
like a singular player that gets a lot of sacks.
A lot of guys that have, if you look at his defense, 3 sacks, 5 sacks.
Yes, exactly.
To those guys.
Yes. Yeah, he doesn't have he's not going to have like a Lawrence Taylor that comes out there and gets you like 12 or 13 sacks, or like a Michael Strahan or TJ Watt or, a Micah Parsons. But, Kayvon might have 7 or 8. Aziz might have 6 or 7. Dexter might have 5 or 6. Leo maybe has 3 or 4. You'll have a nickel corner. Maybe it's Cordell Flott. Wouldn't be surprised if Cordell Flott, if he's playing in the nickel this year, maybe he's got 2 or 3 sacks coming off of edge blitzes. Sometimes safeties. Look at Justin Pinnock last year. Was a safety. Brought him up into the box, sent him on blitzes. I think he had a sack. Like, it wouldn't surprise me. McKinney had a sack this year, right? When he played. Like, it's about the different. He doesn't get a lot of players, like specific players that get double-digit sacks a lot and just have a dominant performance from a sack perspective. But his entire team he uses and gets sacks. Like we had 45 sacks. We were in the top 10 last year for sacks. Like that's good. Like, and we had nobody on defense. Right. Now you get Aziz coming back. Hopefully he stays healthy. Kayvon year 2. You got Tay. Maybe your defensive backs get a little bit better as far as just maybe your corners. Bobby Okereke, hopefully he's going to help that. I love how the Giants or ESPN said our standout middle linebacker, Jared Davis, is going to miss time. Like, yeah, really real standout guy here. But let me ask this question because it got brought up or I saw a tweet about it. With the injury to Jared Davis, this now puts, in my opinion, more pressure for Darian Beavers to come out and perform more than ever and Micah Parsons. But is it possible if a Barkley deal gets done and they move some money around, I think this opens up the possibility that like a Zach Cunningham from Tennessee, maybe they bring him in or something like that, or a Deion Jones who they brought in for a physical and worked him out, I believe, in the early stages of the offseason. Like maybe it's possible they bring somebody in. I'm leaning more towards Zach Cunningham because the guy they brought in, he's from Tennessee, so he knows him.
Right. I don't see it. I mean, I would like to see it, and I think I just, again, with Zach Cunningham, you got some issues to deal with him. I think bringing Zach Cunningham even at 28 years old is a risk. He really hasn't played a full season since 2020. He's bounced around between Houston and Tennessee. He only played 10 games. Like it's just too much for risk. It's too much unless you're bringing him in at a veteran minimum. And I don't think he's looking at that.
That's what I'm talking about. I think that's what he's going to get. I think just because of that, what you said, hasn't played a full season since 2020, played in only 10 games. And I think maybe he'll just be a gap filler. I think Beavers is going to win the starting. Well, not starting, but I think Beavers is going to win that second job. Like, I think Beavers is going to win that second linebacker job. And if you have Cunningham there, put him in the rotation with Micah McFadden, maybe it helps out. Maybe he can I think he's a little bit better than what you can get with Jared Davis.
I laugh because of the fact that when Jared Davis went down, I felt bad about it. I did a video and I called it, I basically said that we just lost Jared Corey Coleman Davis. Because I remember when Corey Coleman went down and everyone freaked out that we lost the punt returner. And everyone's like, oh my God, the season's over. We lost Coleman.
And I think that's what Jared was probably going to. I could see. I think Jared had a possibility of being the number 2 middle linebacker, next to.
That's a big ask for a guy that had 11 tackles last year.
I think that's a possibility, but more likely, I think that he would have been a great special teamer. I think he would have.
He's a special teamer. Let's run through these real quick because we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
James H says, anyone going to training camp? I'll be at training camp. I'm definitely going to the Sunday training camp. I think it's the 30th, and I'll have some other dates that will be at. Motivated T says, the fact that Justin Fields threw for more touchdowns than Daniel Jones is hilarious. Quick question from Chris. Quick question. Leonard Fournette, Sean McCoy in Tampa for their Super Bowl run. Would one of those not be considered elite level running backs?
Neither one of them are. LaShawn was at the back end of his career,
and Leonard is a grinder. Yeah. Leonard Fournette is a grinder going back to Jacksonville. So no, I see that. Zach Attacks basically says best defense in 2000. NASCAR was the best defense in 2010. Hot take. I like the hot take. Let's just see here. All right, guys. We are going to, let's see. Blackbird says the deal will get done. The Giants have more than fair with Barkley. They offered him more than they haven't been fair with Barkley.
Have not been fair with him.
We have not been fair with Barkley at all. And Blackbird, of course, is a Daniel Jones enthusiast, being nice. And they did not offer him market value. Because if you take a look at the actual contracts that have been currently signed, that's not market value. You're lowballing Saquon Barkley because you paid Daniel Jones. Let's just be honest. And
it is.
That's exactly. And we got the heavyweight champ of the world saying, "Whoa, what's going on?
Woo!
What's going on here?" It is 12:01. I need to get out of here. Rob's got babies to take care of. As always, Rob, what pearl of wisdom?
Oh man,
what pearl are you going to leave us today? What pearl?
Well, first and foremost, make sure that you guys are subscribed to the channel. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button.
We stuck at 49. We had 90 something people in the chat at one point. We got stuck at 49 still.
Get stuck at 49. Somebody in here hit that like button so that we can get a cool 50
people in here, and we don't. We got
to get a 50 burger. Got to get a 50 burger on here. Make sure you're following Tim and myself on social medias. He's always posting out, doing videos. I'm always hosting Twitter Spaces. You're more than welcome. We got up to 51. Let's go. Always hosting Twitter Spaces. So if you want more places or more avenues where you can come in and talk some Giants football, follow me on Twitter at real_R0B. And for some more talk. Look, I think a deal is going to get done. So hold out some hope. I do think that it's going to get done. It's going to get done at 3:58 p.m. is when it's going to get done. But I'll be honest, and I believe this. I feel this in my heart. I think if a deal does not get done, you will not see Barkley week 1. You will not see him week 1, and you might not even see him week 2. Next time that you'll probably see him would be against Seattle.
I'm saying this now, and I'm calling it now because I did a video about it, and I heard a rumor, and I actually believe this rumor, and I believe the person that told me the rumor, that I have a feeling if Saquon Barkley does not get his contract, he is not playing in 2023. And people could call me crazy. People can say whatever you want. And like I said, this person who told me this information, someone that I trust, and they're saying that he will not suit up for 2023. And I personally believe it because I think Barkley feels like he's being disrespected. I think he's being he in his mind, I agree with him that he's being devalued by the organization, and that playing for a $10 million and I love when people would say, I wish that someone would devalue me by giving me $10 million. That's not the point. The difference is this: if you are, think of it this way. And I always tell people, let's say you're making $50,000 a year. And you did a job much better than the guy that was making 40, who then all of a sudden got a raise to 100, and you're still making the 50. Are you going to sit there and be happy about it? That this guy who you did more for the team, more for your organization, is making twice as much as you are?
Yeah, I mean, Chad, it happens all the time. Let's just say you're a project manager for a construction company, and you've been with this construction company for 10 years. And you're making good money. but you do a lot for them. You've ran multiple projects at a time. You've gotten stuff done on record time, or maybe sooner, right? And then this new construction company, is coming out, and they approach you, and they're like, "Hey, we want to offer you this," and you've been with your current one for X amount of time, right? You've done everything, and you go to them and you say, "Hey, listen, I might." And again, I understand Barkley doesn't have another offer, right? But you can go to your existing company and be like, "Hey, this is what the market is, and I could get this right now." Because how many times do we do that? We have a job right now. We look at another job. We're getting paid a little bit more. And I know I've done it. I know everybody's done it. Hey, I might be leaving. Like, I need a little bit of a raise. Like, this, right. I'm going to get this here. Can you do anything? Right. And they tell you, no, what are we always going to do? We go where the more money is, right?
Go where the cash.
And it doesn't matter if I've been there for 10 years, 5 years, a week, or whatever. You want to go where you're going to get paid the most. And right now, I can guarantee you that there would be a team that would give Barkley more than $10 million. It may not be 14, it may not be 13, right? But I guarantee you there'd be a team that would probably give him 11 and a half to $12.5 million per year on an AAV average, right? Well, I think there would be.
Here's the point, and this is what I want to bring up with Blackbird real quick, so I really do have to get out of here. Didn't they offer 13 to 14 million? Here's the problem. It does, and I've said this before, and I've been trying to explain this to people millions of times, Rob. It doesn't matter what the average salary is over the term of the contract. It's the guaranteed money.
Guaranteed, yep.
They actually offered him less guaranteed money than if they tagged him twice. They offered him less money than that.
Yep. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, Blackbird. They offered him 19.5 million. Think about it like this, Blackbird, really quickly. The 13 or 14 that you're saying coming from Mike Florio, where they offered him like $26 million. Financially, that doesn't make sense on a 3-year deal, right? Because I believe he said it was a 3-year deal because they don't have the money to front load him this year at all. And maybe next year I could see next year. Now, if he said it was like a 3 or 4-year deal, then all right, maybe it can make sense because I could see them giving him low money this year and then high value in year 2 and year 3 and then walking away. The $19.5 million this year is a 10.1 tag. Next year is a 12.5 tag. So they offered him like $4 million
less.
$4 million less. Now people could turn around and they could spin it and they could be like, oh, well, the next tag, like, you don't know if you're going to get tagged. Like, so, we're offering it to you. And I pose this question to you. I pose this question to anybody. Let's reverse it. Let's just say after 2 years, 2025 rolls around and Jones plays great and Jones is up for a new contract, right? Jones is up for a new contract. And the Giants do the same thing to Jones that they're doing to Barkley right now. I guarantee you people are going to be saying, pay him. Because I know I would be. Pay him what he wants. Pay him what he wants. Pay him what he deserves, right? You wouldn't be putting it in any question. You wouldn't be doing anything like that. We wouldn't be counting this. I guarantee you that if they offered him $4 million less than what it would be if they tagged him twice, you'd be livid. You'd be livid. Like, how are they going to? Because I know there was rumors that Eli got an offer lower than what the market value was, and people shit the fucking fan about it. Whether that rumor's true or not, I don't know. So the bottom line is 19.5. If you're Barkley, put yourself in Barkley's shoes. Why would you do that? Why would you sign that?
Here's the thing I say about Barkley. Barkley believes in himself, like all players do. Let's say he signs this contract for the $19 million guaranteed. He rushes for 2,000 yards. And he's
underpaid.
He's underpaid.
He's underpaid.
You think the Giants are going to turn around and renegotiate his contract after all the shit he went through?
Even not even that, Tim. He had 352 touches next year. Say Daniel Jones doesn't take a leap, and now this offense is yet again another year going through Saquon Barkley, and he's got 280 rushes. He's got another 50 or 60 catches right now. He's got over 300 touches because what else are you going to do? The guy you invested money in, again, I'm not saying this because I don't like that Jones isn't going to do this, but say Jones is not. What do you expect Brian Dable to do? Okay, the guy we invested money in is not living up to and not doing what he needs to do to produce. So I'm going to give it to the next best player. that's going to help us win, which is what won us games last year. I'm going to get Barkley involved. I'm going to get it to Barkley. Every week last year, this past season, we talked about what do we got to do in every single game. Barkley's got to get this. Barkley's got to get that. He's got to get 60 yards in the first half. He's got to get this. He's got to get this many carries. He's got to get this, got to get this, got to get this. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, Barkley can't do this. Barkley, he's not worth it. We don't need him. We could do this. We can get Dalvin Cook. We don't need it. Jones is going to do this.
We're getting Dalvin Cook.
It's like, and so if he does that again, he's undervalued, even if he doesn't go for 2,000 yards. But if he goes for like 1,300 or 1,400 yards, 280 carries, 60 receptions,
touchdowns.
You know what I'm saying? Like another 10 touchdowns, like he's underpaid. He's underpaid. Why would he do that?
And the Giants are not going to renegotiate the contract.
Nope.
Because they've already shown you that they're not going to.
Exactly. So now at that point, you are underpaid. And now you just had 2 years. 2 years
and
where you got worked to the bone, grinded, battered and bruised. 2 years.
You're now 28.
By the following year, you're going to be expendable because your body's just going to be destroyed. Your body's and Barkley is not a 280 carry guy. He's like 220 to 240. Yep. That's what he is.
He should be. Yes, that's
what he should be. 220 to 240.
Now enough of this Barkley talk. Let's run through these real quick, and we got to get it. Chris says, "Have a good week, everyone. It was nice to sit in again for full."
Chris.
So Giants. Chris also says we're gonna have 2 for 2 for Chris. I'm with Tim on this one. I think the same for here for a while. That's in reference to Saquon Barkley sitting out. I like I said, I personally don't think he's gonna sit out. I am just being told by someone who knows someone who's told us things before that has been right that he will sit out the season. I personally don't think he's gonna sit out. I hope he doesn't sit out, but that's I'm just sometimes you just report what people say, and that's the easiest thing. I want to thank everyone. This was a great stream today. I think I'm going to be on tomorrow at 4:00, Rob. I think I'm going to jump on at like 3:50 if something hasn't been done yet. And we'll so you're always welcome. I know you're busy and you have a lot of schedule, but if you see me online, I'll be. I think I'm.
Yeah, just send me the link, and
I think I'll jump on and see what happens.
Yeah, send me the link. If I can get on, I'll jump on with you if I can get on.
Yeah, and I think we'll do that for a few minutes. But I want to thank everyone for coming to the stream with 56 likes. We should have got to 60, but that's all right. But you know what? It's that time again. It's Rob. It's R0B. It's Tim. This is your Giants Sunday. I'd like to appreciate everyone for coming in, stopping by.
Do the market with me.
Do the market with me. I appreciate it, everyone. Have yourself a great weekend of what's left of it, and we're out of here.